road construction. But I'm on the way back into Lassen Park. We are back on the SNRF quest. A lot's happened. I thought I would try to catch up on the way there because I don't have a ton of time today, but I'm hoping to get in and get a camera set up and get a couple cameras picked up that I left way back when. So it's summer, man. The road through the park opened up 3 days ago, I think it was. If you will remember back to my last video, it was March, I believe. There was a big late storm and I had to dig out my camera. I took everything home. I didn't take everything home. I took my camera trap home. I set up a trail camera on a little creek crossing very close to where my other trail camera was set up. Those two trail cameras are still there. They've been there for 3 months. I haven't touched them, haven't checked them, and I'm kind of excited to go see what's on those. So that's phase one of today's mission, is to go get those cameras. Probably just collect them, maybe move them. I have some batteries with me and stuff, so I may do that. I was talking about how I had reapplied for a scientific research permit in that last video. Remember, there was this published study that I'd gotten a hold of about the Sierra Nevada red fox that encouraged what I'm doing, right? Citizen science efforts to monitor, document, photograph. These foxes were mentioned in that strategy quite a bit, and I felt a little bit empowered by that, and I thought, well, this is what they want, so I reapplied asking permission to get my cameras into designated wilderness. That permit was denied, which is not totally unexpected, but a little bit frustrating. I feel like I just have the wrong degree. Like if I had a science degree instead of a history degree, I probably, I don't know. Maybe that's dreaming. Maybe I just need to work for the Park Service. But the thinking is they have to consider whether what I want to accomplish can happen, could possibly happen outside of wilderness. And in my case, they had to say it's possible to get the photo that you want outside of a wilderness area. So that's that. I got a very polite email back saying, please reapply for your special use permit, but we're not going to give you a scientific research permit, and we're not going to let you put your cameras in the wilderness. So it was kind of like, please stop asking. We're not going to let you do this. So I reapplied for the special use permit, paid for that out of pocket again, and that was approved. Non-wilderness areas, I'm okay to put cameras in the park, which is amazing still, and an awesome opportunity that I'm grateful for, and I'm good for another year, so through this next winter. And I'm hopeful, man. I think this could be my summer. But anyway, after that last trip, I pulled the camera trap out, and I didn't put it back because it was getting warmer. The snow is melting off. I knew there would be rainstorms in the spring, and the foxes are back at higher elevations, if they ever left at all. in those warmer, you know, as soon as the temperatures get warm, man, they're going uphill. The park road was still closed all the way through. So I've just stayed out. I left those trail cameras, but I have not been back until now. So like I said, the road just opened, and I feel like it's my first opportunity to get up there and get something set up. I also, over the course of the last couple months, have built a second camera trap system, and I hope to get 2 of them set up if I find a decent spot in the next few months here. But this is prime season, so I'm hoping to get up there now where there'll still be some snow. Maybe we'll see some sign, hopefully find a potential spot on the edge of the wilderness, right? And again, I mean, there's plenty of opportunity to get a camera where I might get one of these shots that I want in the non-wilderness. I just have to find the spot. So I downloaded Avenza mapping for the park. There's a really accurate National Geographic map that has the wilderness boundary on it. I had to dig and find one that had the wilderness boundary because the park one doesn't have it. I downloaded that, and so I've got a very accurate wilderness line on my phone. So I'm going to be referring to that and getting as high as I can without being in the wilderness. So that's the hope, that's the plan. We're gonna get in there, and you know, we're now going 30 miles an hour, which is a step in the right direction. So we'll see you at Manzanita Lake here in a few minutes, and we'll get off trail and go find those trail cameras first. All right, phase 1. We are gonna go find these cameras near Manzanita Lake. I was kind of being quiet about where I was before and trying to keep the lake sort of out of the, you know, out of the frame. There's a raven right there, cool. But now that I'm pulling these cameras out, I'm not as shy to say that I'm pretty close to Manzanita Lake with these cameras. All right, I think this is my gully coming up. This looks so different, but I think my camera's down here. Yeah, I see it. It's there. Definite game trail through this thing. Couldn't see that in the snow, but here we are. See if we're still alive here. Still got battery. Sweet. I'll pull it off there and flip through them real quick. All right. 227 videos on that thing, and I don't want to stand here and go through them all because I've got miles to go before we sleep, right? So I'm gonna go through them. I'll get it on the computer. I'm excited to see what's on here, but honestly it could be a whole bunch of wind. I mean, back to 221 and we're in the snow. So first couple, and then we got, wow, there must have been a crazy storm. The date, that was March 21st. So nothing in, oh, I'm back at the beginning, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, it'll take a while, but it'll be quicker on the computer. So throw it in the pack. I'm gonna pull it down and take my little mount with me, and we'll haul it up with us, setting up the camera trap, and probably leave it up there. Maybe I'll just take the card. Anyway, one down. I'm maybe a little bit more curious about this other one that was, remember, on that little creek crossing kind of situation where I had seen some tracks that were really faded out. You couldn't tell what they were from, but definitely a mammal. But kind of curious to see if anything else used this crossing. There's my strap. Man, remember, like I walked right in here over the top of the snow. There was no sign of any of this logs and all that stuff, but it is a pretty good little bridge. And some more water than I thought was going through here, actually. Man, it's hard to even get there. So, looks all good. But that was the bridge action. So, let me pull it down. All right, we are still showing good batteries. 461 videos. Yikes. So maybe one is something cool. Same thing, I'll go put it on the computer and go through them all. Give you a little slideshow here. If there's anything amazing, we'll show you what it saw. All right, I rifled through those for a minute. I saw some deer, some cool birds, one coyote, which likely is what those tracks were back in the winter, but I'll go through them better and make sure there's nothing else. So onward to the high country. We get back to the vehicle here and drive up to the upper part of the park, and we'll hike into that wilderness boundary area and see what we can find for a camera setup for round 1 of 2024. Truly, like the summer season has begun, so I'm hoping this is the year, people. We're gonna get one of these guys. All right, welcome to 8,000 feet. And we're loaded. We're packing everything for 1 camera trap, 2 trail cameras, and we're headed for the wilderness boundary here. What kind of kills me about the whole wilderness, non-wilderness thing is that, like, I've had people on my Facebook page kind of defend that policy, saying, you know, if I'm in the wilderness, I don't want to stumble on somebody's camera. I don't want to see evidence of other people. I want it to be pristine, which I get that. I mean, I'm the same way, but where people go in the wilderness is not where I'm going. Like, people that enjoy the wilderness of Lassen Park, they are on trails, they're backpacking, they're headed to mountain lakes and backcountry experiences, right? I'm in obscure corners of the park. I'm way off trail. No one's gonna stumble on this, you know? And it's like, I just had cameras for
6 months, right near, like 100 yards from the trail around Manzanita Lake, which is probably the most popular, like, people infested part of Lassen National Park. And not one human showed up on my cameras because I'm that far enough off the trail and in that, you know, random of places, people aren't going to find them. So to say, you know, keeping my cameras out of the wilderness is going to somehow improve other people's experience, I don't buy that. I mean, I understand wanting it to be pristine for sure, but it just seems like a sweeping policy that maybe doesn't always apply, you know? I don't know, it doesn't make a ton of sense. Because I'm gonna go up here and find the boundary on my map, and like, it's gonna be no different on either side of the boundary. I just want to get higher in elevation, and I'm being prohibited from that, you know? But all that being said, I'm super happy to work within the limits of what I'm allowed to do. I'm trying to put the camera in the shade right now, but it's not working. Anyway, I'm happy to do it. I will stick within the rules given to me and see if we can get this photo, but I just don't see all of the rationale behind that. It feels like it's kind of a sweeping policy. It would be better if it was case by case, so they could look at it and say, this guy might get something that we want, let's let him in, you know? But it's a little bit of bureaucracy, I'm sure. So, all right, I better consult my map here and see where I'm at. The snow up here is anywhere from 0 to 7 feet deep. I mean, it's interesting as it melts out. You get these tree wells that open up. I'm seeing some cool rocks up there. I'm getting closer to the boundary here, so I'm hoping maybe that, like, sort of peak area up there will be within the non-wilderness. Because remember, I was talking about wanting a night sky photo. I would love to set the camera trap up for a long exposure, so you get some stars in the background of a photo of a SNRF. That would be pretty epic, right? So I may try for that. I don't know. See if I can get a spot up there. One thing I do have going for me is, I don't know if you remember, I talked about in that study, or that conservation strategy that I found, there's one page that's talking about something totally different, but it throws in a graphic with GPS ping locations of where SNRF were hanging out, the collared ones at least, in the summer months. And that map was just a distribution thing, so it didn't have detail, but it had an outline of the park boundary. So I took that map, I threw it in Photoshop, and I made it like semi-transparent, right? And I overlaid it on a very accurate park map with the boundaries lined up. And that gave me a good idea of where in the park to target in the summer. And this area, this entire area, was full of little dots from SNRF activity in the summer. So they're around, they're here, and they're very right when they say that this photo is possible without using the wilderness. I want to be higher up on the mountain, but it is what it is. It's definitely a good area, even, you know, in spite of the regulations feeling, you know, a little bit like they're holding me back. They're not entirely. It's doable. So I'm gonna check out the rocks up here. I'm gonna work my way up in elevation and see about that kind of peak up there. And I'm liking that, if that's within the line. So I'm getting close to it. I gotta look at my map again. Good stuff. Nice to be up here. It's like 60 degrees. There's a nice breeze blowing. The snow is cool. Beautiful. So good stuff. Moving on. Whew. Man, kicking steps up some of that. It's probably easier going right now than it will be when it's all rock again. But I am still within non-wilderness, and I'm liking the potential of this kind of high elevation area up there. So I'm gonna poke around a little bit, probably set up somewhere near here for now. But I'm gonna get up on this little top and see what I can see. So, pretty cool spot. If you know the park, you're seeing landmarks. You can kind of get the general idea where I'm at. I don't want to advertise it, obviously, but fun to have a room with a view up here. That was my biggest concern, was not being able to get a good view that I wanted. So I'll probably set up without the night sky settings, and then if it looks potential, I'll play with the trigger settings and camera settings, and maybe switch lenses on the camera if I want to go serious for next time. But let's see, let's get it set up first. All right, this is fun. Seeing like bloop, bloop, bloop. Like, hard to point and see, but there's mammal tracks right there. Old, like just dense. Could be a coyote, could be a lot of things, but critter activity is good in a place where you're hoping to set up a camera. So we're close to the top of that thing. I'm just exploring around these rocks for a potential like vantage point, you know, that a fox might want to get up on and look around from. All right, here's what I wound up with. There's a bunch of snow right over this edge. There's kind of this ribbon of rock that I'm hoping is sort of a path of travel. I'm seeing like a little bit of a game trail through the dirt path here. It's awesome looking. South view, Lake Almanor's down there. I'm at way over 8,000 feet. So there's kind of a path through here. I found this ancient, man, almost petrified tree stump I can screw into for a camera mount. Super solid, still rooted. So I'm thinking camera here, kind of zoomed in on that sort of rock right there with an epic background. So it'll look different, not on the GoPro. The GoPro's super wide angle, but that's what we're gonna do for now. There's also a potential spot out here where there's more rock. So I may stick a trail camera over there actually. But I'm gonna get going, set this up. I got a half hour of that in front of me, so I'm gonna do that real quick. And I'll call you back. All right, I'm up here setting up. Right there's my camera. I'm standing on what I hope is the target spot, right? Working on flashes and stuff. I was thinking about trying to prop a flash down here behind the rock for like a rim light sort of thing, and I was looking at where to set it up, and I bumped into Those bad boys. Obvious tracks heading off that way. That's so exciting. Those are pretty fresh too. I'm gonna get down and see if I can see anything in them. But that's way cool, man. That's encouraging. That's like, there's not a whole lot that could be with that kind of gait. I mean, look at that set of 4 right there. Those 4. All right, so that's the live view from the camera, right? So that edge to that little point up there, there's reality. We're like down here to up there. So when you set this up, let me wake it back up. You want to shoot a little bit wide so you can crop down, right, to an image that works, like composition wise. So if I got like this whole range to play with, it feels like more potential for a decent shot. So I'm like right in here, basically. I'm right next to the camera trap now. There's the lens. I'm looking there. I'm excited, man, because right over the top of that is where those tracks are. I'm gonna go explore those. But anyway, there's the camera. I've got down here one flash shooting up that way. My trigger is also here, kind of looking up at that rock. So anything that climbs up that or comes up here or comes down this way is gonna trigger it. Maybe down in this trough, if something goes through here, it'll trigger and I'll just see the tops of some ears or something, you know, which is kind of the sacrifice you gotta make or risk. But I'm hoping for somebody on top of that rock or over here on this rock. That's my hope. Anyway, the other flash is in a pile of rocks over there for 2 front flashes. That one's set a little bit brighter. This is like your secondary light. That's your main light for the photo studio, right? And then right over the edge, risking it a little bit here on the cliff, is flash number 3, which is a rim light. If an animal was to perch itself anywhere in here, you'd get a cool rim light effect around that guy. And right there are what I have to assume are SNRF tracks, people. I'm still gonna go down there in a sec and check them out. But that's the camera set. Fun stuff. All right, it's firing on all cylinders. Looks to be good. Potential, man. It's good stuff. The only drawback to this place is that it's very south facing, so direct sun during the day, which could affect how well the trigger works. But I'm mostly going for a nighttime shot anyway, so I'm willing to sacrifice that. All right, let me button this up and we'll go check out those tracks. All right, we're down behind everything right now. That's my backlight flash up there. There's kind of a shelf down here, a pretty big gap, right, from snow melt. But whatever this thing was up here, obviously, and hopped down. You got some like skid marks. Ah, you know what? Doggone it. That's a deer, man. Psyching me out. That's lame. Some deer hop down there though. That's kind of impressive, actually. But clearly a deer. Boo. Maybe we'll get a deer on that camera. That deer is up there, man. We're at like 8,500 feet. What's he doing? Well, there goes that hope. But I'm still in SNRF country. I'm in the neighborhood. And I'm in a sweet spot, I think. I like it. So maybe we'll get some kind of a mountain goat deer, but maybe we'll also get the target species. So I gotta hoof it back to the car, get out of here, and we'll be back in a few weeks. I'm gonna walk over here. I did not put a trail camera up here. There's just nowhere to mount a camera overseeing that spot, so I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna go over here to this point and maybe stick a trail cam over there. I was saving it kind of because I thought that was some exciting tracks, but deer aren't that exciting, but that's right. I'm gonna go stick a camera in the neighborhood just to have one out, because I also like that point up there for potential photos. So let's scoot over that way. This is also a very sweet spot. Bigger drop on the backside, higher up here. So there's a few places down here to maybe mount a camera. I think I'll put it maybe down here on the pathway up to that point from both sides would be here and here, and going back behind where I'm standing up to that spot. So I'm gonna put a trail camera on this if it's solid, yeah, and we'll kind of look that way. All right, kind of the same situation, being south facing. Probably won't pick up much in the daytime just because of the sun, but I don't see much potential for wind triggers. I think that branch is a little too far away, so that's good. We'll see what we get. So from here, my camera is over there on that one, so if we get action here and not over there, we'll move stuff. But I really like that camera placement at this point. So there you go. We are back at it. So we'll sign off for a couple weeks and get back up here. Again, I get about 3 weeks of battery out of my camera trap. So that's always kind of my target. My goal is to get back within about 3 weeks. So we'll see what we can pull off. But some of this snow will be gone for sure, and we'll be looking at some different terrain. Kind of harder to get to this spot than where I was last year even. So that's all right. I think it's got potential. So until next time, we will see you out there.